It's New Things Day. Comics, vinyl, books, the triple threat. And I'm just going to jump right into it because this video is going to be long enough. I am going to try to get a few more books into this one because all the books that I saved, if you've watched my last videos, 400 plus, they didn't exactly make it to any shelves yet. There's a huge pile, just a stacks of books over here. And I'm going to try to get through some of those so I can get them on a shelf. But comics first, Uncanny X-Men number 9, Apocalypse War story continues, and this is the only X-Men book I read, so this is the only portion of the story I get. I'm not hating it though. All New, All Different Avengers number 11, and I actually am really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying. No, that's an Uncanny Avengers where Hank Pym came back, isn't it? Either way, Annihilus is now involved in this. I think it's Uncanny Avengers that Hank Pym came back in. I don't think it's this one. Either way, Annihilus is in it. I'm an Annihilus fan. I almost dropped that book a couple times, but I've been enjoying it. Uncanny Inhumans number 11, Civil War crossover, Karnak. Gotta love it. Gotta love Karnak. Karnak blows my mind just as a character. Silk number 9. I've said it many other times. I'm never excited to read this book, but after I read it, I am so glad I'm on this book because I really enjoy this book. Hyperion number 4. I don't know if I have a cohesive thought on this book yet. I'm gonna wait till the first arc's over and then figure it out from there. I do enjoy it, but I don't know if I know how I enjoy it or what parts I enjoy yet. I'm still testing the waters, dipping my toes in. And then, sadly, the final issue of Starve, which I have been loving. I think it was new. I think it was fresh. It felt like raw, and it was a different take on a lot of different things. But bye. All right, vinyl. This is pretty vinyl heavy. I did buy a few vinyl, and I don't know if I'm going to do any in-depth looks at some of these. I think I probably should at some point, but I don't know if I have the A, patience, B, the want to do it. So I don't know. I mean, if you want to see some of these more in depth, I guess I could do it, but you don't care as much as I don't care to do it. First up, Black Flag's Damaged, their first album. And I think it's just on standard black vinyl. Yeah, just standard black vinyl. Feels a little thick. I don't think it's 180 gram, though. Doesn't feel 180 gram. But you may see this in an audiography video because there's a few songs on here that may have shaped me. Don Rickles, Hello Dummy. I think it's just an interview with some radio station, but it's Don Rickles being Don Rickles. Don Rickles is just absurdly funny to me. Just classic old school humor. Really excited to listen to this. Another comedy album, Robert Klein's New Teeth. If you are an actual stand-up comedy fan, you know how much Robert Klein actually contributed to the world of stand-up comedy of his time and how he took kind of comedy in a more thoughtful direction while everybody was still doing dumb slapstick stuff. Not everybody, but he was definitely part of that. Emery's The Question. Huge Emery fan. And this is actually on liquid clear vinyl. Didn't know it was a colored vinyl when I bought it. Couldn't have been happier when it came in. Even though clear is probably one of the least exciting, but still exciting and great album. Has Misbehaving on it. Studying Politics, one of my favorite songs by them. Listening to Freddie Mercury. Big Emery fan. I'll leave that one for last. That one's special. Next, picked up the Deadpool soundtrack. by Junkie XL, aka Tom Hulkenborg, and didn't know anything about this. By the way, it's a gatefold. Deadpool will see you in the sequel. There's the back. There's one of the sleeves. Has some liner notes there. Well, not those are just mainly credits. And then there's one sleeve. This is on this red. It's kind of off red. It's marbled. Kind of looks like blood. It's kind of a marbled splatter. It's weird. It's interesting. It's like a marble splatter. That's the only way I can describe it. But didn't know this was colored, and when it came, oh boy, was I excited. Pull out the other sleeve here, just get a gander at that. There's some more, some credit, some thanks, and then just a little drawing. Hi, I'm Deadpool. Also the marbled splatter. Super excited about this though. Little DMX action gets involved. Little wham. This might as well be a greatest hits album, let's be honest. Some Neil Sedaka, some George Michael, some Salt and Pepper. Another soundtrack I got is the Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. And now there's Batman and Lex Luthor on the bifold. It opens again. It's a trifold. There you have Superman and Wonder Woman, so you have the Trinity there in the trifold. It also comes with it came with a poster. It was kind of just the generic Batman Superman poster. The one with half and half comes with liner notes, obviously. But even though it's a 3 LP, there's only there's only 5 sides of actual content, and this might be hard to see. And on side F, A B C D E F, there's an etching of Batman and Superman. Wow, you can actually see that one a little better than the etching I showed on the Let Dispute record. But as cool as it actually looks a lot cooler in the video now that I'm looking at it than it does actually looking on the record. It looks messy. I don't know. It's sweet still, but it looks very scribbly. It looks like they just... I honestly feel like this one missed the etching, and they handed it to some guy in the break room, and they said, "Hey, Phil, scribble on this a little bit. Draw some of your little characters, because we need the etching on it." Obviously, this was made in... What accent was that? Chicago? Is that a Chicago accent? I'm not good with accents. Oh boy, I can't get this back in here. This is dangerous. I can't get records back in just sleeves. Then they have me dicking around with this trifold garbage. Back. Whew. Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL again. And wow, we're going 3 for 3. I didn't even think this was I didn't even think of this as a soundtrack, but this is a soundtrack. And I'm going to read you a few of these songs, and to yourself, see if you can figure out what soundtrack this is. We have Doesn't Really Matter, performed by Janet. We have Hey Poppy by Jay-Z. We have Just Friends by Music. Missing You by Case. Even If by Method Man. I'm Gonna Crawl, DMX. Thinking About Me by Brian McKnight. Let Me Be by Eve. Get With Me Shorty 101. Do You Remember by Montel Jordan. Off the Wall by Redman and Eminem. Just a Touch by R. Kelly. Now, all those are on here. And I'm stoked about R. Kelly, but there's the one song that I really got this for. It's on side A of vinyl 2. Wrong. It's track 1 of side B of the second vinyl. And that is Sisqo's Thong Song, uncensored. This soundtrack is Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps soundtrack. What a find. What a find. The only reason I bought it is so I would have Thong Song on vinyl. That's it. It's the only reason. I can now officially say I have Sisqo's Thong Song on vinyl. And it's gatefold and 2 LP. Just standard black, obviously. Stoked about Thong Song. Hyped up. Now some books. I gotta get through some of these books so I can put them on a shelf. I should not do this in the video. I mean, the corners of this thing are a little beat up, but as long as Thong Song plays, we're good. Alright, I'll get these out of the way. Books. As always, if you know what any of these are, if you're familiar with any of these, let me know, because I know very little about a lot of these. Alright, first up. That water doesn't go there, that's first. First up, George F. Keenan's. George F. Keenan's 1961 offering Russia and the West under Lenin and Stalin. Published by Atlantic Little Brown. This book was owned by Carrie and Herbert, or Carrie Herbost. I don't know. It's a weird thing written on the sticker. But June of 1961 they have written in here. So somebody else owned it June 1961. Hardback. Dust jacket's a little rough on the bottom here, but oh well. This is going to be dry. Phenomenal dust jacket here, as a lot of these have had. It's in a little rough shape, but this is Manning Cole's Without Lawful Authority. It's a Crime Club selection. Published by Doubleday, Dorn and Company. Copyright 1943. And you got to think of the year 1943 and scope out that cover. Just a dial, like a lock dial, a safe dial with a swastika on it. Wow. And then the back of this is what I actually love. This book, like all books, is a symbol of the liberty and the freedom for which we fight. You, as a reader of books, can do your share in the desperate battle to protect those liberties. Buy war bonds. Then it says, in parenthetically at the bottom, bonds or stamps may be procured at most bookstores, all banks, and many other places of business. To buy them is to become a true soldier of democracy. What better book to have a buy war bonds ad on the back than a crime book with a swastika on the cover? None. I'm sold. I'm actually just finished a book, and I may read this. This may be next. I don't know. It's so hard for me to read this pile of books I have, because I still have piles of books on shelves that I got a long time ago that I feel like I'm neglecting that I need to read. We have Roger Torrey Peterson and James Fisher's Wild America. A distinguished naturalist takes his British colleague on a 30,000-mile tour of the continent, which sounds pretty sweet. Kind of some modern-day Lewis and Clark deal. There's something on the side here. It looks like maybe some type of spider was involved at one point. This was published. God damn it. Published by Alfred A. Knopf. But it doesn't have the year numerically. It has it Roman numerically. MCMLV. I want to say that means 1950. Maybe wrong. But this looks interesting too. But I don't know. I opened it up and it doesn't look so dry. There's some get a good page or something. Oh, there's some cacti. There's some illustrations. So this may actually be good. I don't know who this is for. Some of these books, like some of these older books, there's no real demographic set for them. It was like, hey, you writing a book? Write a book. We'll put it out. Who's going to buy it? And then whoever bought it, bought it. Edwin Way Teal's Adventures in Nature, illustrated by Walter W. Ferguson. This was published in, well, has a copyright in 1937. This edition looks like it was published in 1959. It's hardback with a library binding, which I'm super stoked about. Font's a little big, so this may have been a library book, if you will. There's a chapter called Natural History in Times Square. The Death of a Tree. I don't know if this is a book or if this is a novel. The Duck That Came to Dinner. I don't know what this is. Join a noted naturalist in his adventures out of doors. Oh, I love that term. I love the term out of doors. Travel with Edenway Teal among the Florida Keys, through the redwoods, into the heart of a cloud. Watch jellyfish from the conning tower of a submarine. I don't know what a conning tower is. I'm not familiar enough with submarines. Spend a night at the top of the Empire State Building during the autumn bird migration. Find adventure and mystery in the Knothole Cavern. The 31 selections in this book have been chosen from an even half dozen of the author's earlier works. Oh, so it's kind of a collection of things he wrote with some illustrations in it. I'm interested in that too. I don't even remember picking that up. We have Robert Gettle's, Gettel, I think I'm pronouncing that properly. Robert Gettle's novel published by Walker and Company in the year 1983. Twice Burned. Hardback, library bound. Love library binding. I can't say it enough. It looks like it's a Walker mystery, whatever that means. Larger print in this thing too. I want to say a lot of these old, I think because this may have been a book club book. I know there was a lot of those around at the time. A lot of these, what year did I say this was? 80s? I feel like all these 80s hardbacks, 83, a lot of these 80s hardbacks have larger print. I think it was just kind of a standard. I think the standard of font size may have went down over the past few years. And by few years, I mean since 1983. This one looks like a newer book. It's definitely going to be a newer book because the cover price is $20. I don't think there was a $20 book any earlier than 1994. It's not as new as I thought it was. 1994's Shadowsong. It's a novel by Terry Kay. I know nothing about Terry Kay. I just know that this book was in extremely good condition. Slight decollage cut on the edges here of the pages. I don't know why I had to say of the pages. Looks like Terry Kay was also the acclaimed author of To Dance with the White Dog. Don't know what that is. Don't know what kind of book this is, but it's in my collection. I guess he's the author of the Emmy Award-winning screenplay Run Down the Rabbit. Don't know what that is. Don't know at all what that is. Oh well. Terry Kay, Shadowsong. Next we have hardback. Dust Jacket's a little iffy, a little torn up, got a tear in the cover. Jesse C. Fletcher's Bill Wallace of China. Because everybody knows that there's a Bill Wallace in China. Cover price on this thing, $2.95. Published by Broadman Press in the year 1963. This is a 5th printing. Once again, know nothing of Bill Wallace. Know nothing of Jesse C. Fletcher. This is the story of an ordinary man who, in the providence of God, I made a mistake on this book. Bill Wallace served as a medical missionary in China during 17 of the most turbulent years in the ancient kingdom's history. The doctor who was reared in Knoxville, Tennessee, became a legend among the people he served. At the peak of his ministry, he was called upon to seal his Christian witness with his life. In February 1951, he died, a martyr for Christ in a communist prison cell. I may not have thought I knew what this book was. Was not trying to get involved in a religious text. It's short, though, and if it doesn't focus too much on Bill Wallace's Christianity, I may be okay. Is it a novel? That's what I want to know. Looks like this book was owned by a Mrs. Irving Davis of Independence, Missouri. And now it's in my possession. I don't like the way these are going behind me. I don't like it at all. Frederick Forsyth's The Devil's Alternative. No dust jacket. Hardback. Published in the year... Well, published by the Viking Press in the year 1980. I know nothing about this, but usually I'll pick up a book if it has devil in the title. Is that wrong of me to pick up books with devil in the title, but avoid books with Christianity in the title? It may be wrong of me. Next we have Frank G. Slaughter's Epidemic. No dust jacket. Hardback. Print's actually kind of small in this. So 1961 though. I mean, not small, but it's smaller than some of the other hardbacks of the 80s. And I think I have some other things by Frank G. Slaughter. I don't think I've ever read anything by him, but I think I have other things by him. I thought this was kind of interesting. I just kind of picked this up on a whim, and it's going to be way outdated, but I mean, I kind of find it interesting if I ever go out and I find something. This is How to Fix Your Own TV, Radio, Record Player, and Hi-Fi System, published by Popular Science Publishing. Oh, god damn it, in a Roman numerical year. MCM LVI, 1951? I hate that I think that's 1950, but I feel like it is. But there's all kind of diagrams and schematics of how to fix things, and I don't know, maybe if I get into vintage, I shouldn't be getting into anything at this point. Maybe if I get into vintage record players or phonographs, as they are referred to many times here. Hey, they show you how to insert a needle cartridge. Great. They also show how you can tell when a worn microgroove stylus tip. Okay. Who knows? But I thought it was interesting. It's an interesting book to have. It was just going to go in the garbage. The garbage. Oh, here's another Frank G. Slaughter novel, The Purple Quest. A vivid novel of seafaring adventures and royal intrigue in an ancient world. Nice dust jacket on this hardback, front and back art. This was published in the year. Published by Doubleday in 1965. This is a book club edition. Got a lot of book club editions. Decollage on the side and yellow. Pages are colored yellow, painted yellow almost on the top. Next we have Victor Canning's, Victor Canning, messes with my mouth, The House of the Seven Flies. Know nothing about this. Great cover artwork here where there's only 6 flies. The book is called House of the Seven Flies. There's only 6. Unless she's a fly. Shoe fly, I say. This is a book club edition, hardback, nice dust jacket, as previously mentioned. Published by the MS Mill, William Morrow, in the year 1952. The book has been serialized in the Saturday Evening Post under the title House of Fear. So they changed the name when they published it in Saturday Evening Post. Probably because there's not 7 flies. Next we have John Lee Carroll. I hate names that have the little... Is that a bug? I don't know what that is. A little piece of dirt. I hate names that have the little accent above it because I never know how to pronounce it. A Small Town in Germany. Hardback. Decent dust jacket. Book club edition. Published by Coward McCann in the year 1968. Some nice, looks like there's nice German town art on the cover there. Novel. Oh, here's another one by the same guy, John Lee Carroll. John Lee Carroll. Carey. The Looking Glass War. And this one touts him as the author of The Spy Who Came In From the Cold. So maybe it's Small Town in Germany was pre Small Town and A Spy Who Came In From the Cold. This was published by Coward McCann, 1965. A very non-glossy dust jacket on this. Very matte looking dust jacket. He's on the back here smoking his pipe. 3 more. I swear that I'm done. 3 more and I'm done. This stack is gone. I can get them on a shelf. Get them out of here. A Cup of Tea for Mr. Thorngill by Storm Jameson. What a name, Storm Jameson. I feel like I already went over this. I feel like I already had this. I don't know. Maybe I was just looking at it. Cup of Tea for Mr. Thorngill. A novel of pride and corruption by the great Storm Jameson. I don't know who Storm Jameson is. I just love the name. This book is the Book of the Month Club selection. Published by Harper and Brothers in the year 1957. Decollage. The problem with these decollages I'm finding is they seem to collect dirt when they're not taken care of properly. So I have to go through and I'm going to have to clean the edges of these pages a lot better because I gave them a quick wipe down when we got them, but the decollage seems to be holding in some things, so that's going to bother the shit out of me. Storm Jameson is a woman. Even better. Storm has a name. Storm. I've heard Stormy in Dean Koontz' Odd Thomas series. Next, second to last, I swear I'm done. There's no way you're still watching this at this point, but at this point, it's me cataloging what I have. Let's be honest. A Wilderness Bill of Rights by William O. Douglas. On the back here, Justice William O. Douglas and his 2 grandchildren. Nice picture there of him and his 2 grandkids. What year was this published? This came from the library of Thomas Fulton. Don't know who that is. And this was published by Little Brown and Company in the year 1965. So if these kids are that old in 1965, I wonder how old those kids are now. If I could hunt one of those kids down. Oh, hunt is not the word I wanted to use. What if I could find out who they are? They're probably Douglas's. Unless he had a daughter. I'm thinking way too hard to this. Justice William O. Douglas, distinguished member of the Supreme Court of the United States since 1939, has been equally renowned for his long and devoted involvement in the cause of conservation. So maybe this is a lot of... Oh, wow, this might be dry. I was talking about that Russian book being dry. This might be even worse. It's all about conservation. Detergent foam in Pennsylvania stream. Yeah, this is going to be dry. And then last book, and then I'm leaving. I'll get gone. There's no way you're still listening at this point. But this is Rosalind Laker's Orchids and Diamonds, a novel by the author of The Sugar Pavilion, hardback with library bound, published in the year 1995 is the first edition. And the only reason I even got this is it uses the font of American Horror Story. I saw that it was using the font of American Horror Story, and I just had to grab it because I like the font. It's interesting, and I will eventually read it. By the way, I'll eventually read every book here, hopefully. That's the goal. I don't want to own a book I don't read, put it that way. So eventually I'll get around to it. Thank you for watching. New things all the time. What is in this? What is going on with my Starve book? It's like they cut the edges. Cut the edge weird. I don't know what to hold up, so I don't know. I don't know what to hold up. I can't hold up all my vinyl at once. So I'll just hold up Comics and Vinyl. No, I won't. I won't. Oh, boy. I tried to pick up half the vinyl in it. I couldn't do it. So, comics, thank you. Okay.